These omnibus spending bills, nobody knows what's in them. It's just junk and the kitchen sink thrown in. Things that congressmen and senators don't want to be held accountable for. So you can't say you voted against border enforcement. What they say, Congressman Gaetz, is, oh, no, I just voted to keep the government open. That's essentially what they do, correct?
Well, and the whole sum of this movement was to ensure that never again would we be forced to take a vote on something like this omnibus legislation. And I actually think this will make Kevin McCarthy stronger as a speaker, because in negotiating with the Senate, he'll be able to say, I'm sorry, the House rules don't allow us to consider things that aren't germane or that don't comport to a single subject.
Yeah, make it better. Now, the issue of defense spending, I brought this up several times last week. That's always treated as the sacred cow. Can never touch defense spending, no matter how woke the Pentagon is, no matter how much scrutiny the Pentagon needs for its failures. We all support our men and women in uniform. But the idea that 55% of our discretionary budget can't be touched, those numbers don't add up with the cuts that you all want, correct? Unless you guys ultimately start thinking about cutting parts of the military.
We're certainly going to have to look at a number of things to get this budget to balance.
What's the number of things? You can't get away with that on the show. What number of things?
Many things that we're going to look at, but defense is
That's the biggest number, isn't it?
It is. That is absolutely one of them, and we have a lot of defense hawks in the House of Representatives that are probably going to put up a fight for that. But we have to have a budget that actually balances, and that's what this
Congressman Gaetz on that.
Forward.
That's the defense issue. The hawks in the Republican Party and some of the Democrat Party are saying, no. You can't touch it. I heard the comments even tonight. You can't touch the defense. You're being irresponsible with national security. The Wall Street Journal had a very powerful piece today. National security is at risk with what you guys did.
I represent the district that has the highest concentration of active duty military in the country, and we can defend this country and project power more efficiently and more effectively than we do. President Trump was the first president to demand an audit of the Pentagon, and they couldn't pass it.
He didn't cut defense
Well,
spending.
we got an audit, so we show where they fail to actually deliver on some of the authorities. And how about we start with Ukraine before we reduce what we do for our troops? I think it's a pretty easy case to make that some of this money that we send to Ukraine without requisite accountability should be the first place for reduction.
All right, we got to play this video. This was the real dramatic video on Friday night. So we were live 10 to 11, and all this stuff was happening in the hour and minutes after we got off the air. This is one of the most talked about moments. McCarthy comes over toward you. You see it gets heated. Lauren, is that you right next to us? Yeah, there are you. Now, Fox News reported that you appeared to mouth the word committee during this exchange. I guess you had a lip reader. Congressman, the world wants to know what was said here. Come on, this is a pivotal moment. What was said?
Well, this was a matter of timing, and those of us who had withheld our support for Speaker McCarthy wanted to move as a group. We thought it could be a unifying moment. I'm glad that, to Speaker McCarthy's great credit, in the final moments he made the requisite concessions to bring our team together and put us in a great position to do what we did tonight, vote to get rid of 87,000 IRS agents. So I think that, the imperial speakership is over. Nancy Pelosi will be the last imperial speaker, because now we're going to unlock the potential in all the members, and I'm glad that Speaker McCarthy saw it that way.
Now, I also saw that you both were talking to various Democrats during the process, and you especially were talking to Congresswoman Jayapal and others. Was there any thought of a deal with Democrats during this process, ever?
Absolutely not. I was actually.
You look pretty cozy talking to the Democrats. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're fun people, just like Republicans.
If you want to know what I was talking with Congresswoman Jayapal about, it was about the big tech legislation that I supported with her to break up these companies. And we were talking about, during Republican control, could we get those bills to the floor that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't bring to the floor while her husband was trading big tech stocks?
Could you work with some people on the left on some of these issues, Congresswoman BOEBERT? Because, you guys are vilified.
Right.
People were tough on you last week. I was kind of tough on you last week. But there are a lot of great things that were done because of what you guys did to hold out on this stuff. So could you guys work together?
I believe that the Congress is going to be much stronger than it was going into this, the Republican Party, and we will be able to work with some Democrats.
Good.
There were many Democrats who campaigned on conservative values, and I want to hold them to it. They were talking about securing a border and reducing inflation and energy independence even. And this was a battle in a lot of elections that we were seeing. So I want to hold them to those promises and bring them into the committees and have these discussions to actually move things forward.
That would be
and get
ironic.
America back on track.
Yeah, that would be ironic if it were more bipartisan as a result of all this.
Right.
We'll see. Congressman Gaetz, Congressman BOEBERT, thank you both for showing up tonight. We really